No, the happiest time in your life, you didn't fiend for it. You were just a gamer, 14 years old, 16, whatever. It's related to the health of your psyche, like the Bible says. That purgatory is that space of spirit. Demons make you degenerate like that. Most black magic is done through playing with your prostate.
Which is the flexing of the perineum, or...
That's demonic possession.
Came to you when you're not ready for it, isn't it so? Even if it's the greatest thing, it may be the greatest thing, but it came...
Information as educational only. Do not try this at home. Consult your doctor. This is not medical advice. Everything I discuss falls under the umbrella of anthropology, so please understand the difference. The iron egg technique involves hanging weights.
Adam and Eve only knew divinity and innocence, and thus inherently respected the laws of creation. In their innocence, they were ignorant of the consequences of indulging in the fruit of sexuality. Tremendous energy is harnessed in the sexual act between a man and a woman. It is in this coitus that humanity has the God-given capacity to create. This is the mystery of the Holy Spirit, the fecundating fire of God, symbolized in India as Shiva Shakti, the creative and destructive power of God. One of the most sacred symbols of Shiva, the Holy Spirit, is the Lingam Yoni, the intersection of the phallus and uterus. The same symbol is found on the other side of the world, in the alchemical tradition. The force that powers all creation, on all levels of existence, is sexual energy.
The most suppressed topic, too. People just think it's this. Like there's no soul. It's just in and out like this. This is what animals do. Right? And then, oops, I'm preggo. Oops, I had a baby out of wedlock. Oops, I had an abortion. I'm traumatized. It's just evil from it. Like, think about how gross that is. Hey, I know I'm not marrying this guy, but boom, 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 boom. That is so disgusting. I can't have a daughter in this world. I'll kill myself if I have a daughter in a video game. No shot. That is terrifying to think of.
The power of creation, harnessing the force of that electric energy, implies a great responsibility. The wasteful expulsion of energy and semen through the orgasm was not and is not required to create a child. This is, in fact, the hidden meaning of the term immaculate conception. Immaculate means perfectly clean.
When a man has an emission of semen, he shall bathe his whole body in water and remain unclean until evening.
Dalai Lama.
To indulge in the fruit of sexuality means to spill the sexual energy, to orgasm, to taste the divine energy that illuminates the soul, in order to feel physical sensation.
You know, most humans on Earth, they go, no, it's just rubbing. You're just rubbing till something happens. And it's like, do you really think there's no spiritual component at all? What the You know how complicated that is? You know how complicated the emotions are? I'm talking about mostly from her side, a girl's side, than let alone a guy. But geez.
That illuminates the soul in order to feel physical sensation. Thus, the energy used to maintain the physical and spiritual vitality of the individual is expelled through the orgasm. Adam and Eve, as a symbol of men and women of the ancient past, ate of the forbidden fruit of the tree of knowledge, or the secret knowledge of sexuality. They abused the sexual energy in their own bodies by having the orgasm. and therefore they broke the most fundamental rule they had been given.
See, what they're trying to say is once they break that rule, they need it. They fiend for it. Kind of like how you were just a gamer until you one day get laid, and then you start fiending for it. You're like, I need another chick. I need another one. But the happiest time in your life, you didn't fiend for it. You were just a gamer, 14 years old, 16, whatever. And you were good. There was nothing disgusting in your life. It's just nothing. It was like when times were bad when you were a teenager, it wasn't dark and demonic. Then you start dating as a teenager, and then it gets dark and demonic fast. Right? I skipped that. I didn't date till 20. And then I was panicked. I was like, I think I need more experience because I'm late. And I started going crazy with my EXP. Right? I was like, boom, 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 boom. Just everything. So you never lose your virginity. Dude, look at this. Look at me. All right? Look at me. I swear to God, anxiety and depression wouldn't exist if everyone got married with their V card. But how do you know if you'll like enjoy it with that one person? You will. You'll practice. You will. I guarantee you will. Okay, let's finish some of this.
It is very important that the tremendous energy that gives mankind the ability to create be used efficiently, because it is connected to the same energetic force that sustains the individual's own vitality. It is well known that
Okay, who in chat actually thinks it's just a nut, bro? Or is there some spiritual force there? Is there something to do with you? You know, 99% of society walks around thinking, oh, it's just sex. It's just sex, John. Well, if it's just sex, how come the tree is growing out of this guy, bro?
the sexual energy is intimately related to the health of our psyche and our...
This is what I want to talk about. It's related to the health of your psyche, like the Bible says. You get married as a virgin. I have to live. I will never live in a world where I see my daughter marry a virgin. My cousin, none of them. I live in George Soros society. Bruh. We live in George Soros society. So if I get to 1 million subs and start my own community, oh man, could you imagine if I had my own church with a good pastor and super strict anti-degeneracy? I feel like those super strict ones always become a little political, but I don't want that. Right? The one thing in my society I'd want disconnected from politics is my church. So everyone goes there. Every one of your daughters is going to be piped. And you're okay with that. Wow. You know what I hate is to live the life we all want, whether 28 or 21, you have to date a 21-year-old. You have to date a 20-year-old chick, which is really, really creepy. Like, it's very hard to get along with them. I mean, it's very easy to get along with them, but it's too easy. It's creepy. It feels weird.
Physical bodies.
All right, let's finish this.
Not only is it necessary for sustaining physical vitality, and thus the 5 physical senses, but also the vitality of the 7 superior senses that unites mankind.
The 7 planets above, right? Stars, really, give us energy. They're solar, just like the sun, right? They're electromagnetic. And apparently each one, if it's Mars, there has good qualities and bad qualities about it. This is how Crowley explains it. This is where they draw their evil energy from. And the one furthest from warmth is Saturn, the 7th. Saturn energy is what degenerates you. Saturn energy is what makes you go, you know what? Your daughter will be like, oh, no, I'm not. Listen to my dad. I'm going to be just being the popular girl in school. And then boom, there's 10 cocks in her. 10. Or excuse me, 7 cocks. But 7 vital organs, 7 planets, and 7 chakras.
Kind to the
7
divine.
wheels.
Without the sexual energy, the soul atrophies, breaking our connection with God. When we expel the sexual energy, we expel the energy that fuels our inner senses. This is why those who fornicate, who expel the sexual energy through the orgasm, cannot perceive God directly. The orgasm is symbolized.
I remember hearing this. Hold on.
Without the sexual energy, the soul
Tell me, good
atrophies,
shit.
breaking our connection with God. When we expel the sexual energy, we expel the energy that fuels our inner senses. This is why those who fornicate, who expel the sexual energy through the orgasm, cannot perceive God directly. The orgasm is symbolized in the poisoned apple given to Snow White. While sweet to the taste of the physical senses, it is poison to the soul. Eating it results in unconsciousness and an eternity of sleep.
How come they never draw like hot chicks? Why do they always draw them looking like this? Right? This is my biggest pet peeve is like, hey, it's a lot easier getting into the Bible if you draw some like hot chicks. Like, I know you're trying to tempt us with this pasty ass bitch, but I don't like this.
The universal story of maidens and virtuous heroes falling asleep is an allegory illustrating the sleep of the
I guess it is hot back then, because when you look at this chick, is that our grandma Eve? I hope I'm not talking about grandma. Am I? I think it's just a random chick, bro. But the difference from this person on the screen and anyone you know is the people you know have a minimum 15, 20, 25, 30 body count. That's a lot of trauma, right? That's a lot of bzm, bzm, into penetrating their psyche, right? It's not grandma, is it? It's just a random picture.
The universal story of maidens and virtuous heroes falling asleep is an allegory illustrating the sleep of the consciousness, the state in which the human being loses the direct personal knowledge of God and the higher realms of nature.
That's what happened to you. You notice you walk through life with an amnesia. You're like, I don't remember God. I don't know God. That's you. All of you.
This is why the fruit of the tree of knowledge was forbidden to eat. Before the abuse of the tree of knowledge, sex was treated with the utmost respect, and the orgasm was unknown to mankind and unnecessary.
A lot of people are like, well, how did they just never bust? Dude, they lived in perpetual euphoria and innocence. Like when you were like 14 years old and you didn't think about this stuff. When you were a child, when you were 10 and it was about Roblox, right? They're called the good old days. Because that's what heaven is like. Okay? A lot of people think heaven is like when you're an adult. Not really. At all.
Husband joined wife in the sexual act according to the laws given to them by Jehovah Elohim. They enjoyed the tree of knowledge, sexuality, but did not eat of its fruit. This was the genesis of the distinction between good and evil. A humanity that knew only goodness ate of the forbidden fruit and discovered animal desire, which always leads to suffering and pain. This is the Pandora's box or vase of Greek mythology, which when opened, releases the agents of evil into the world.
Evil.
Fear, pride, shame.
And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves
They were not even fearful when they were in the garden. Even when there were snakes, they were not prideful, and they were not ashamed of being naked. Also, they were like beings of like light, they say, right? That like they weren't just man and woman. Like they were way buffed up. That's the only way you explain it. Because falling from grace means coming to the material world.
aprons. And Adam said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself.
Through the discovery of the orgasm, Adam learned to be afraid, to be ashamed. As promised by the tempting serpent, humanity gained new knowledge, the knowledge of suffering. In tasting the forbidden fruit, Adam learned desire. From this moment, right and wrong is filtered subjectively through the need to feel pleasure and avoid suffering.
And Jehovah Elohim said, Behold, the man has become
Who said low test Adam? What?
as one of us,
That's your
to know
prophet,
good
bro.
and evil.
Humanity had already known good, innocence, purity, and simplicity. Now humanity also knew evil, shame, fear, pain, emptiness. Now
Oh, Helmy, I love you, dude. How'd you find this?
Rebirth cycle is achieved. In theosophy, the soul is part of a person which belongs to a formless, non-material, and timeless world, and gathers experience through its effort to express itself in the physical world. Afterwards, there's a withdrawal from the physical plane to successively higher levels of reality in death, experiencing a purification and assimilation of the past life. In Scientology, past lives is a key part of the practices taught, where the human individual is actually an immortal spiritual entity that has fallen into a degraded state as a result of past life experiences, which can be compared to the concept of karma, a sort of spiritual.
When they talk about past life and karma, what they're really not telling you is there's earth, purgatory, and the heavens. That purgatory is that space of spirit, right? Obviously, God's spirit bleeds through that too, but there's evil spirits. Think of purgatory as the stars, the planets. Now that purgatory is where these demons come up with these ideas, these dark spirits, pride, envy, whatever. They come up with these ideas that you have an ongoing rebirth cycle, right? That they become a part of you, those dark spirits, right? They go, oh, we're living up here in this higher plane. But what they don't tell you is, does a human infinitely regress? Meaning, do you get reborn 1 zillion times? And what would be the point of that? No, you get one life in judgment. Don't f*** it up. Careful, because if you believe in karma truly, you'll see a woman getting raped and you won't interrupt that karmic cycle. You'll just keep walking like Buddha. Okay? You follow in the footsteps of Christ and you hang with the lepers. Don't fall for this. This is New Age bull dick and Buddha's a fat bitch.
Spiritual counseling is attempted to free the person of these past life traumas and recover past life memory, leading to a higher state of spiritual awareness.
Why do you think man is here on this planet? What's his purpose? Why is he in a body?
Well, he was put here, and he was supposed to make his own way out of it.
Who put him here?
Well, call it a supreme being or higher forces. And he actually, and I hold this in common with many, many sages, he was put here to work out his own salvation. And we feel in Scientology that we've made a very big stride in that direction.
The concept of nourishing the soul to achieve higher spiritual states of consciousness is a central part of mystery schools and secret societies which view themselves as custodians of ancient techniques which have been passed down for many millennia. Many of these practices were outlawed, and in some cases punishable by death, and went underground and hidden in symbolism, such as the case with the subject of alchemy, which in actuality was not confined to the transmutation of base metals into gold, but in its esoteric form had to do with the development of spiritual gold, spirit or soul. In the occult, or Western esotericism, the approach to spirituality is often divided into what is called the left-hand and right-hand path. The terminology is most often used in terms of ceremonial magic, which in all cases harnesses and utilizes sex energy, or the creative life force, to amplify the will of the practitioner. It is an oversimplification to identify the words black and white with good and evil, even though that is often the context in which they are used. But in my opinion, the differences can be better understood in the different methods used, rather than assigning a good or bad connotation to the actions. So, for example, some of the activities practiced by occultist Aleister Crowley is considered by some to be right-hand path,
There he
or
is.
black magic. And an example would be his cakes of light, which involves the consumption of various bodily emissions and fluids, as well as indulging in controversial, non-traditional sexual practices.
This is where eating ass and licking feces comes from, right? Demons make you degenerate like that. Right? Or even Gooner. He's like getting his ass ate. Even that's bad. Right? I can't wait to say I told you so when we're all 40 years old. They'll be like, listen, man. They'll be like, yeah, there was a demon in me, Zherka. You're right. I stopped doing that. It was a trend. It was an anal trend.
What makes this right hand is not so much of a moral judgment as it pertains to the way in which the act is carried out. Aleister Crowley himself has said, quote, "To practice black magic, you have to violate every principle of science, decency, and intelligence. You must be obsessed with an insane idea of the importance of the petty object of your wretched and selfish desires. I've been accused of being a black magician. No more foolish statement has ever been made about me. I despise the thing to such an extent that I can hardly believe in the existence of people so debased and idiotic as to practice it." While I try to provide this information in an objective manner, as an educational video, and not as an endorsement of Crowley, I will say that I believe that much of his writings has been misunderstood because of its symbolic nature. While I won't be interpreting his work in this video, I will say that part of the more esoteric material he taught had to do with harnessing prana, chi, or life force energy through the stimulation of the prostate gland. It is the taboo way that he went about achieving this that...
Okay, now check this out, all right? I'm sorry to break your bubble. Most black magic is done through playing with your prostate. This level of sodomy, it opens portals. Everything you do opens portals, okay? Literally everything. You swear at your mom, that's a portal. That demon in you, right? It brings its friends. And it says, hey, let's swear at our mom more often. Sodomy is the highest level of Satanism because this man was knighted by the queen doing it. He's not known for anything else except anal play and hallucinating and black magic and blood magic. If you do anal, right, you gotta really ask yourself, what are you doing? Right? And if you're just doing regular sex, you gotta ask yourself too, like, what is the goal here? Is the goal for this bitch to have an abortion? Is the goal for this bitch to get knocked up and then me run from her? Is the goal, what is the goal here? And if the goal is just, oh, it feels good to rub it, that's the same mindset as a dog. And I know I'm calling out everyone on this website. You're all dogs, right? If it's about that rubbing feeling, like, you know, a vibrator feels good. It's a lot of the heroin feels good. I can't wait to do this preaching, street preaching in Miami. I can't wait till some sodomite talks to me on the street, right? So this is Aleister Crowley, and he wrote in his book after his first homosexual experience, he started talking to dark spirits. And at first you're like, this guy's just crazy. He was knighted by the queen. Why the did he write that? He was knighted by the queen. It's like Marina Abramovich. The queen only knew black magicians, right? Anywhere you see billions of dollars, there's some black magic involved. The universe bends to their weird blood rituals. And if you don't believe me, look at Balenciaga. It's not just art. There's a reason they use children and innocence. It's the highest level magic they can turn. And magic? You really believe in magic? No, but billionaires do. So yes. Yeah, he was literally eating feces. And by the way, if you've ever ate someone's ass, you've licked feces stain. Right? Because the chances of that, well, it's clean, John, it's clean every time. Really? There's no particles? Like you're rubbing on feces with your tongue. Snap out of it. But it feels good like heroin, bro. Does anyone do that in my chat? It's like eating pussy, you know? Someone's eating pussy. It's like, bro, think about it. That's a hole. That's a hole. That's the discharge hole. You're like a dog, right? Which is weird. A lot of people have poked me and they're like, have you ever wanted to? I swear I have. I can imagine. I've never done it, but I swear to God, I have. I've felt that urge to degenerate. I swear I've had that. Like twice, 3, 4 times in my life where it's like, I was like 23 working at Cabana back then. And this girl's in lingerie and I was like, I need to bury myself in that like face. And obviously I didn't do it. I was like, bitch, get on your knees. Finish the job, bitch. Which is so cool because it's like, I don't know, you get remembered in your city. You know, that makes you popular in your city when you're like, you know, when they point at you and they go, yeah, this guy is kind of like an asshole about that. He won't do what Aleister Crowley will do. But girls need to give head, because someone came into my chat and said, John, you know that oral is sodomy too? I'm like, how are you going to take the best part? Right? You know what these girls are doing, man? How are you going to take oral the best part? How are you going to take that from me, bro? Right? Isn't oral the best part? Because you're getting head and you're like, can you submit further? And she's like, I'll try. I'm already like sucking your pee hole. I'm like, submit further. Go down in the trenches. That's a sodomite though, right? Receiving oral? What if God said like, hey man, you guys are going to get very hypersexual doing all this stuff. Just put it in the hole and shut up. Maybe that's what God wants. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not supposed to receive oral anymore. Which is weird. If you're like a loud, aggressive guy, then, and you know what I'm saying, if you're anything like me, then oral is like the easiest thing you get within like 10 minutes of meeting someone, right? It's like a handshake at that point. But if you're like this soft, kind of like quiet guy, then you don't really understand oral. You never got it that much in your life. That's the data I've collected. But it's all bad when you think of it, right? Like after this year, when my channel's at 1 million subs, yo, it's time to get married, dude. I need to knock up some bitch and get some kids. I don't mean to call that bitch. That's bad energy. But you know what I'm saying? Make sure I don't forget, guys, right? 29 and a half years old, make sure I'm pumping out something. How to uneat? I don't know, bro. You're done. You're going to hell.
At least in part, has earned...
First of all, it's not about uneating. It's the fact that you fell for it. What other trends have you fallen for? You know? There's no way it's a coincidence that the most DMs on Twitch is Zherka and he doesn't eat the box. How is the You look at someone who does really well, like Haas and his new... Did you see Haas's new beautiful girl? Wow. I like her. She's so submissive, man. They're so good together. But Haas gets so many DMs. And he never does that stuff. Like, people like me never do that stuff. You know? There's a lot of sodomites in my chat. Well, technically, I am too if I'm receiving head. He got a... Was he with Samira? He got a girl. I can't react to it, can I? I can open up quickly, right? Oh! She changed me. What the hell?
Dog that is useful. So if you're a farmer,
I agree with that.
If you're a farmer, it makes sense to have a dog.
She's based as
his negative reputation. In other parts of the world,
she's cute too. She's like a Selena Gomez, right?
There are alternative techniques that also stimulate the prostate, which may not be as taboo, but in some cases...
Bro, I know. She's not just cute. She's, I guess she was like different, like a feminist or something, but then she's like completely listens to Haas about everything, trusts him. I'm like, how the f did you manage to find that on the internet? That is crazy, dude. Usually they don't look like that.
Are also seen as bizarre or even dangerous. In India, yogis, after having mastered the transmutation of energy brought about by semen retention, use breathing techniques where the lower stomach is thrusted in and out in a way that, along with Kegels, which is the flexing of the perineum, or...
That's demonic possession, okay? That's forcing your third eye. Right.
Pelvic floor muscles, can also stimulate the prostate.
There's a reason your third eye is hidden into your brain, and it's not here. It's because the true third eye is faith. It's not tapping into knowledge, right? Esoteric knowledge like this.
Orgasmic energy is then channeled up the spine using mental attention to awaken the chakras, or endocrine system. Where the mind goes, the chi flows.
If you activate this dimension of energy, other dimensions of life will open up. One thing is, are you ready for those dimensions? So what is Kundalini? Right now, I am speaking. This is Kundalini. You are alert and listening. If you are alert and listening, that is Kundalini.
World Economic Forum.
A flower is blossoming, that is Kundalini. A dog is barking, that is also Kundalini. Or in other words, the fundamental life force in the existence, we call it Kundalini. Now, within the system, within the human system, if you look at this as a kind of a life package, it's a piece of life. This piece of life is packed in a certain way with layers of this energy. One dimension of energy comes alive immediately because that is necessary for your survival process. The other dimensions of energy will not come alive unless you do something about it. Unless you're aware of it and activate it in a certain way, they do not come into existence. They remain dormant. The dormant energy is way bigger than the energy that is in use right now. To take care of your survival process, to live a physical life completely, to live a complete physical and intellectual life, you need to activate only about 21 of your chakras. Out of this 114, if about 21 of them are on, you will live a complete life. You will not feel any inadequacy. You will live a complete physical life. There'll be no problem with your life. You will think you're a great success, but you're only 21. That is less than 21% out of 114. Less than 20%. At less than 20%, you will feel like a complete life without any inadequacies. The remaining percentage of life, what is it about? It is not even needed if your intention is just to live well. If you activate this dimension of energy, other dimensions of life will open up. One thing is, are you ready for those dimensions? The question is not about whether it's good or bad. The question is just about, are you ready for it? Because even if the best…
He's actually talking about 7 gates. There's 7 gates, 7 dimensions, 7 planets, 7 wandering stars, 7 energies that affect the ether. But he won't say it out loud. He won't say that it's Saturnian energy for which is the most powerful. And yes, they can hallucinate and wake up and have a better life. A lot of these people who are like, oh, and they hallucinate, the world starts changing. They start getting more lucky in life. They bend the universe. They get more opportunity. You think this guy was found randomly on YouTube? This guy forced it. He forced it. But you can achieve great feats with just faith. You're going to see what I do. I don't do this.
best things in life come to your life when you're not ready for it. It will not be a good thing for you. In your experience, it will not be a good thing if something came to you when you're not ready for it, isn't it so? Even if it's the greatest thing, it may be the greatest thing, but it came to you when you are not ready for it, then it is not a good thing, isn't it? So are you ready for it, is the first question. If you're ready for it, what can we do for it? What can we do to activate? There are various ways of doing this, many ways, but the Kundalini Yoga, are people familiar with Kundalini Yoga, practicing or… okay. Kundalini Yoga, I'm not making a comment about anybody, okay? Kundalini Yoga in its essence is the most dangerous form of yoga. I'm saying dangerous because it's the most potent also. What is most potent is always the most dangerous. If…
Wait, I recognize you, dude. Sadhguru, right? Okay. Huh. That's him. That's him. Yeah. I recognize this guy. He's, isn't he for the depopulation agenda? Yeah, he is.
If there was one thing talking about water and talking about the world and human impact, what have we seen about humans' actions? What's wrong, and then how do we make a shift in the value of water and how we value water?
See, most human beings are looking at soil, food, water, air as commodities that you can buy and sell. These are life-making material. 2/3 of your body is water. 2/3 of the planet is also water. If you're looking for life, you look for a drop of water. So when you treat a life-making material like a commodity, there is a price to it. That's a price we're beginning to pay.
Okay, so we're talking about a price and a value. So then how do we shift the values? Because if we're a values-driven society, then some of those directions tend to change. Are you seeing some of that change?
So you can change your values, but without changing the basic way.
He's not a guru. He's had a wife before. This guy's been nutty, busting nuts. He has kids, and he regrets it.
We operate in the world, or you can change the values, but if you don't change the practices, nothing is going to change. So what we need to focus right now on practices. For example, I'm picking on agriculture because it is the biggest land user and also biggest water user on the planet. The way we eat is ecologically disastrous. The way we dress is ecologically disastrous because the 3rd largest polluter on the planet is textiles. Most people don't know this. So Everything that we do has become violent in the world, the very way we exist. So this transformation needs to happen. More understanding of, not of ecological sciences, more of life in terms of that this life can only happen if everything else is well. This is slowly sinking into people. I feel in terms of awareness, substantial work has been done, but now it is time for action. Because if action doesn't happen now, the window of action that we have, once we miss that, then what we need to do will be much more, and the pain that we will go through as humanity will be much more. People think planet is in peril. No, planet is not in peril. Don't you worry about Mother Earth, she will bounce back. Only human life could become very cruel if we don't handle it now.
So in the session we just attended here at the Economic Forum, I think there was a sense of relief actually in your frankness. You brought up some issues that others are reluctant to bring up.
Always. All the religious groups are against me because I'm talking about population. They want more souls, I want less on the planet.
Okay, so on this time frame though,
You see that? Not pro-life, but now look at this. UN meditation room. They all practice New Age Eastern meditation. All of them. And remember, 4 corners of the earth got the Bible. So what the f is this doing in here? They all do this third eye pedo.
Improperly handled. There are various kinds of energy in the world right now. Even the electricity is being produced in so many different ways. One of the ways that we do it is through nuclear reactors rather. It is the most efficient way of producing energy that we know right now, but it is also the most dangerous way, isn't it? When things go wrong, they go seriously wrong. When they're going right, it is the easiest and the best way to produce energy on the planet is nuclear energy actually. But when it goes bad really bad, like in ways that you can't fix it. So similarly with Kundalini Yoga, it is the most potent and it is the most dangerous. Without the necessary preparation and guidance, without expert guidance, constant guidance and observation, nobody should ever attempt it. But the problem is, books have been written about it and everybody wants to do the highest yoga. Nobody wants to start with A, everybody wants to start the alphabet with Z. This attitude itself is dangerous.
you talk about
What can be…
Another Luciferian in disguise. Jeez, he just had a Masonic lodge, Grand Lodge. Wow.
more action. Are you seeing
a life-transforming force can become a life-destructive force simply because without the necessary commitment and dedication and focus and understanding, it is being handled. Anyway, about rising the Kundalini. If the Kundalini rises, the dimensions…
Raising your serpent, rising Kundalini.
of your life will change so rapidly that you must be willing to make the outside adjustments equally quick. Otherwise, things will fall apart in a big way. In the classical yogic traditions, there is a certain type of yoga we teach for people who live in family situations. There is a certain other type of yoga we teach for ascetics. In Isha we have both the forms. We have ascetic yoga and we have the general yoga. We will never teach you the ascetic form. That is the most potent way to do it. But it will demand a certain dimension of discipline and focus which your regular lives will not allow. If you do that kind of yoga, it will dismantle your outside life instantly. Now this yoga is not designed to dismantle your life. This yoga is designed to make your life happen better. When life happens better, when things happen better, you make more money, your business is going better, your profession is happening better, you are generally, unfortunately, your longing to seek the higher becomes slower. Yes? So in the real sense, it is not the good way to do it, but it's the only way it works in today's world. And it's the only way it works for majority of the people. For a small number of people, we can do it other ways. We can buy…
He says all pedos have small hands. Look at these hands. Are these hands small?
bypass all these things and just do very powerful ways of doing things. But it will dismantle all social structures around them, which is not good for everybody to do. So these are different dimensions. Kundalini Yoga, if it has to be practiced, you must be in a certain kind of atmosphere. You cannot live in social situations and do Kundalini Yoga. Otherwise, in the name of Kundalini Yoga, you're doing something simplistic. Otherwise, Kundalini Yoga can transform the way you are within days. Suddenly you find you are a stranger in your own home within 2 days of practice, because it will change everything about you. So can we raise the Kundalini? Yes, we can. One way is to create a conducive atmosphere so that slowly it rises. The other way is to provoke it in such a way that it raises quickly. If it rises quickly, then everything changes dramatically. If it rises slowly over a period of time, changes will happen slowly. You will be capable of handling these changes over a period of time. But if it happens very quick, then you will not be able to handle the changes. Things will look like things are falling apart. So there are different ways of doing this. How many ways? There are too many ways. I will not go into how many ways. There are so many ways of doing it. Essentially, there are 112 ways of doing it. There are 112 ways in which you can take this up. From the base to… oh, for this you have to know the structure, otherwise it'll become very elaborate. Out of these 114 chakras, there are 7 which we recognize as 7 dimensions. Out of this, 6 are within the body, 1 just outside the physical body. So if you employ these 112 methods, you will handle the 6th chakras. The 7th one you cannot handle. There are 112 ways in which you can attain to a chakra which we refer to as Agna. But from Agna to Sahasrara, there is no way. There is no way to do it. You just have to jump into an abyss. If you have to jump into an abyss, you should be insane. Or you should have enormous trust in somebody. Somebody says jump, and you are jumping because you have such a deep trust in somebody that when he says jump, it has to be good for you. You simply jump into a bottomless pit. So, the journey from the Mooladhara to Agna, there are 112 ways to get there. But from there to there is no way. It is just one jump that can happen in trust, in devotion, or in madness. Choice is yours.
In a more controversial approach in China, techniques stemming from the Shaolin monks, such as the iron crotch exercises, are also performed to stimulate the prostate, generating qi, without direct internal stimulation. I'd like to repeat that I provide this information as educational only. Do not try this at home. Consult your doctor. This is not medical advice. Everything I discuss falls under the umbrella of anthropology, so please understand the difference. The iron egg technique involves hanging weights to the testicles and swinging it back and forth. This is done over time to gradually increase blood flow.
Okay, these are the liberals of the traditional esoteric societies.
Flow, flexibility, and resilience in the area, increasing stimulation. It is claimed that it increases sperm count and testosterone and…
If I made a black joke, do I get banned? Yeah.
While I'm not qualified to speak to those claims, I can say that if performed correctly, under the guidance of a professional, this bizarre technique…
It's like 5,000 pounds. You know what I'm saying?
has been claimed by some to bring about elevated levels of qi. So I repeat, do not try this at home. My name is Robert Sepper. I'm an anthropologist. My published work is available on Amazon, as well as through various other major book outlets. They make a great gift. If you'd like to support my work,